Hi, let's write something that's a little more interesting than the copy program. So again, we're going to be doing applications. The last application we did was the copy program, just to show you how simple it was to do. This program here also is going to be simple to do, but it will kind of take you one step further into application development. So we'll select a cell up here. We'll take a block, an application block. It requires us to choose a stream. We'll choose the financial stream, and we'll choose the 3 columns. We can give it a name, new app. We could give it a description, new app does, etc. Okay, we'll just say okay. Of course, it drops the app in just like before. And now what we'll do that's a little different is we'll take a formula block now. And in the formula block we'll write some expression. So we could write something like case underscore price times case underscore volume. Oops. Okay. So there we have a very simple formula. It really relates these 2 columns. So the idea is, as data flows down here and here, what will flow down here will be the product of these 2 values. So whatever the price of the trade is, we'll multiply that by the volume. It's in some ways it's a meaningless application, but it does show you how to do basic arithmetic. And of course, there are many other arithmetic functions that we have available to us. We can double-click the cell, which will bring up an expression editor, and here we can begin to see the kinds of functions that are available to us. So all of the things that you know and love in Excel are also available in the cloud, and there are many others. And actually, we'll be adding more to these as in future versions of the add-in. There are data structures for those that know about arrays and pairs. There are time functions when we're dealing with time. There are random functions if we want to generate random numbers. There are string functions if we're manipulating string objects. Here we're doing arithmetic on numbers, but we could easily be doing string manipulation. Like for example, with a Twitter stream, we could be taking tweets apart and putting them back together again, and I dare say we could retweet if we chose to. So here's there are many string functions here, including powerful ones like Lucene query. There's a Lucene query function that will take a string, and based on the input to the Lucene query, it will kind of rank the string based on the input, just like a search engine like Google will rank your string against all of the information it has about web pages. We also have things like, for people who are used to things like finding regular expressions. So there's we can look for regular expressions within strings, or we can do all the basic string operations that you expect to find if you've done that kind of thing before. If not, we'll teach you how to do it. We have some other functions in here. Prefix and scan are all functions that really have to do with streams. They allow you to kind of scan streams, which can be very useful. You can, for example, be summing things in a stream, finding the product of things in a stream, finding the maximum value of things in regions of a stream. But we'll look at that because that kind of gets into more advanced features of the language. There's some miscellaneous functions here. I'm not quite sure what they do, but okay, if then else and other things like that. We can do conditionals. Okay, so I guess you'll believe me that there are many functions that we can avail ourselves of. Okay, so there was the simple row function. So all of these would be acting on a row. So I could type any arithmetic expression in here that I chose to. It could be as complicated as I liked. So we can say, okay, let's just run this application. So we run it and we'll see that it should produce the expected output. So again, we can kind of see it's doing its cloud computation. There's that pulsating C down here. And data will start to, once the computation is done, which is done now, data will start to flow down into the program as we've seen before. This is computed data. We've actually created a new stream called new app that's available to us, which has these 4 columns in. We should have probably named this column something more sensible than column J2. But let's look at the stream, because if it computed it, it should have given us a new stream down here. Well, what did we call the stream? We call the stream new app. Well, we don't see it here. Let's just refresh the list, because it may not be in there. So there it is. There's the new stream. It's pretty meaningless description there, but those are the 4 columns we've talked about. And now we could choose to make that public, and somebody else could start to use that stream in their work or their computations. They could just download it, or they could actually use it as the basis of some computation or application that they were writing. So that's it. So we've seen how to do simple arithmetic, row-wise arithmetic, or computation on rows. In other videos, we'll explore how you can do things in using the group by concept and window frames and real-time windows. These are more advanced features of the language. There's also a select over here that would allow us to do a simple select. Actually, we can illustrate that right now. I could write something quite simple in here. I could say something like, well, okay, case symbol equals VIOB, or case symbol equals some other, I don't know, let's use another one, PUBX. None of these are real stocks. Okay, so there we are. So now if I run this application again, I'm probably going to get less data this time, so let me just delete that data so that we don't have debris around from our last computation. So we'll run that again, and this time we'll find that we have much less data. We'll only see in Excel those rows that this condition is true for. In other words, that are related to the VIOB stock symbol or the PUBX stock symbol. And so that's a way of kind of reducing the amount of data that you are interested in looking at. So we did some computation and we did some selection, all up in the cloud. Very, very simple. Okay, we'll look at more advanced things later. Thank you.